So Liam, match against Aberdeen at Pittodrie marked 150 games for you at Motherwell. That must have been something quite hard to imagine when you first arrived here.
Obviously 3.5 years ago now, when I first walked in the building, there wasn't even a manager in place then, so 3.5 years later I still be here to have played 150 games. It's something I'm really proud of. Try and pride myself in being available for selection, and to be available 150 times and to be picked 150 times is something I'm really grateful for. And I've honestly loved the last 3.5 years. Obviously 150 games, like you say, good victories in there, some poor defeats, kind of top 6 finish with Big Ricky Lamy scoring that last minute winner, that stands out straight away. A lot of good times, and definitely something to think about in a positive way anyway, that's for sure.
Well, we want to focus on the positives today, so what I've done is I've put together what I think are some of your best highlights and your best moments, whether you agree or not remains to be seen. But the first one here is actually from one of your teammates now, Callum Butcher. This was right back at the very start, I believe, when you were just on loan at the time.
I remember that. Obviously Butch stepped in there. I didn't think he was going to shoot, obviously he wasn't known for his goal scoring abilities at the time, and it's one of the ones, for a goalkeeper's point of view, it's probably really difficult to save, but if it goes in, then everybody probably says what's the goalie then, you know what I mean? So like probably goalkeepers would appreciate that more between each other, because if it goes in the goal, I think everybody will say what's the goalie then.
I mean, that was a highlight of what was a really successful 6 months for you when you were on loan here. Was that some of the best games that you can remember ever playing?
I think like every football player will say there's a certain period of career that's the best. I think every player's got that, and I think that 6 months for me was just, and probably going into the following year as well. So that 18-month period, obviously starting here, like everything I done kind of just came off for me. Everything I went for, I saved. I remember thinking to myself, things are just going so well. Did
you always want to make that loan move a permanent one?
I loved it here. Honestly, I loved it here. Also, it was COVID at the time, but I felt the warmth for the supporters and the appreciation for the fans. Absolutely delighted that I did come back. No regrets whatsoever. I've loved every minute of it.
Second half and paid the price, but if I look back at my loan spell at Motherwell, it's been brilliant. Can't thank everybody enough for my time here and all the support I've received, so thanks very much, and all the best for the future. Cheers.
Another one that I picked out was at Pittodrie, ironically. Pretty incredible.
That one I was happy with that one, mainly because it was 2-0 at the time. I was obviously big Kevin Van Veen scored 2 at the time, and it was like 15 minutes to go if I remember right, and it just keeps it at 2-0, you know what I mean? It's a totally different game compared to 2-1. I was probably a lot more happy with the save for the initial header, that touch that I first get, compared to that point before Big Batesy, who I played with at Rangers, gets there. Nathan McGinley followed in as well with him. The second part was just a natural reaction. So,
do you think if he scores there, does that game end differently?
Maybe. I think them no scoring there kind of gave us a definite chance of a victory, you know what I mean? And I remember the week before we lost heavily to Rangers, and people were writing us off that year a wee bit as well at that point, because we had a poor defeat to Rangers the week before. So to show the character and the personality for the whole team to come back and win 2-0 away at Pittodrie, for any Motherwell team, as long as I've been here, that's always a great result.
It's always, one thing to show what you can do on a loan move to a club, but then when it becomes permanent, there can be a bit of doubt as to whether are we going to get the same kind of player when that move becomes permanent. And our first game of the season is against Hibs here at Fir Park. You made a great save in here against Jamie Murphy, and I think at that point everyone went, yeah, he's the real deal.
In terms of this save, obviously it was the first game of the season, so it was good to get off to a good start, but as it comes into Murphy, I knew Bevis was kind of blocking a wee bit of the goal for me to my right hand side, and knowing the kind of player that Murphy is, he likes to open up into the far corner, so you just take a wee gamble and kind of use your sort of football kind of initiative and have a rough idea where he's going to put it. I was just really pleased to get off to a good start at the start of the season personally with a good save.
It seems to be a thing of you making saves down in front of that away support, because the next one was against St Mirren and this time it was a double save.
I was just pleased because it was 2 each. I mean, the most important thing for me is when I make saves that they have an impact on the scoreline and it helps my teammates get a positive result. Obviously that's 90 odd minutes, and if they score they win 3-2, so I really went night. There were so many bodies in front of me and I just remember trying to see it. The next one for Brophy, I had no idea kind of where the ball was until it was coming through the bodies, and just took a gamble on it, and thankfully I made the save there.
What are you doing when you're lying down on the ground there after you've just pulled that save off? Are you just taking a moment to reflect? Or?
Just taking a moment, I think I'm just taking a wee minute just to calm myself down, and usually that kind of slows the opposition down a wee bit as well. They don't run and take the corner of that when I'm lying on my back, so it kind of slows everybody down, allows us to regain a bit of composure and then kind of defend the corner for there. So just taking a wee breather.
Quite a rainy night at Fir Park against St Mirren. The next one was a very sunny day against St Mirren over in Paisley. Again, an opening day of the season save for you. This one came under slightly different circumstances just after the Sligo result.
Obviously under a lot of pressure, a lot of negative noise after the Sligo result, and by the way, rightfully so. We deserved every bit of the negative noise that we got. And again, the most pleasing thing for me is we're winning 1-0 here. Kevin scores a really good penalty that Spitz wins us with a handball in the first half. We're under the cosh playing against a really good St Mirren team. I just remember obviously the big striker Inga was falling in at that time. Post, I felt even if I did parry it forward or wide, then there could have been a goal. So I thought the only way for me to really deal with it was to get it over.
Lifesaver, man. Tell us. Lifesaver. What did you give him? That was a goal. What did you give him? Best goalkeeper in the league.
This was very early on in Stuart Kettlewell's tenure. I believe it was his second match in interim charge. But you didn't really get the credit for this save at the time, did you?
No, because the touch is so small, Scott, so I can understand why people never gave me the credit for it, and I don't care about the credit for it. The most important thing is the ball doesn't go in the goal. And obviously this was really important in terms of the manager now, who's obviously brilliant for us. He's in that position, and that victory against Hearts and the scoreline being 0-0 at the time, to give us a chance and a platform in the game is the most pleasing thing. Like I say, obviously I play with Shanks at Scotland, so I remember him saying to me after the thing, "Did you touch that?" But because Snodgrass played the ball and Shankland was a wee bit away from me, when I turn my head I can kind of see him lining the header up, and as he's lining it up he's going to generate power, and as he's going to generate power that means it's coming back across me. So kind of half the way I managed to plant my left foot only, I come back across the other way and get the slightest of touches on it, and I managed to take it onto the post. And they're ones that you appreciate more from a goalkeeping point of view, that not long after Big John Obika put us in the lead, and then I think Spitz scored straight after half time, and we then went on to the game to win 2-0 comfortably. And
this was one of the many saves you made that day against Rangers in a draw that we managed to get there.
Rangers were winning the first half 2-0 at this point. They were just off the back of beating Borussia Dortmund, so nobody really gave us a chance in the game. So just to try and keep the scoreline down, and then for us to come back and win the game, because at Ibrox you've got to just give yourself a chance. And I remember thinking, just defend it inside Bevis, but it actually goes outside of Bevis, and I just go anyway, and actually I just went, and I was even more happy because it then has a positive impact on the result when you come back and you draw 2 each through Jordan Roberts, and I think it was Kane Willery get the second goal. So
Connor Goldson has his hand in there because he clearly thinks that's going in. Did you always feel like you had that covered, or did you feel like you were stretching quite far?
There's an old saying, the goalkeeper, like, if you don't go you'll never know, so I just went there in hope of saving it. And obviously the boys are grafting so hard during the game, and you know when you play the old firm teams and the top teams in the league, you're going to need to come up with saves.
You've said quite a lot in this so far about, you just want your saves to make an impact on results and performances and moods and camps. I don't think it got any bigger than this one.
Oh well, Ross County were obviously top 6, so it was us and Ross County kind of for that 5th spot. This one's a funny one because Big Liam Shaw had like headaches during the whole week, and if you see the ball it kind of goes towards him and he kind of ducks it the way it, and I don't blame him because he did suffer from terrible headaches. When so many people are so close to it, Scott, you expect a touch at every point, and you need to wait till the last second, because if you go too early and somebody gets a touch and it's in the middle of the goal, everybody be saying, why is the goalie just stay on his feet and catch it? So you need to give it to the very last second, and nobody really touches it, and it's going all the way to the back post, and I just throw myself outstretched and managed to get the smallest of touches, and that's what it took to get the ball in the post. This was 94th minute, and 5th place got European football, and they knew if they beat us or we beat them it would have a huge impact in that race. So I think the feeling is of kind of relief for us, even though we've started to defend the corner, and for Ross County I imagine it's just because they came so close to calling ourselves back in the game, and then it would have been game on for that 5th place European spot, and thankfully that has an impact in our league position and where we finish, and like I say, that's ultimately the most important thing for me.
St Mirren again? Is this a thing?
Maybe because it's closest to where I'm from and where I live. Ross Tierney manages to score in the 91st minute, Scott, to make it 1 each that night, and I remember just turning around as if everybody kind of gave up on the ball, and obviously Richard take to the back post again with another header. He's not gave up on it, and thankfully so did I. I just follow the ball all the way, and he puts a decent header back towards goal, and I think I just kind of gamble that he's going to go exactly where he goes, and I managed to keep it right off the line and keeps you alive in the game. And the most pleasing thing is when Ross goes and scores that kind of equaliser in the last minute, and you've had a positive impact on the result of the game. There was like a first kind of header in the middle where a couple of other boys went for it, so you're kind of set for that save, and then you need to change to maybe there might be something else happening. It's hard to defend that run when Richard Tate keeps going, but everybody just kind of stops to watch the ball and gets Shaughnessy maybe challenging in the middle. Big Kevin's just hooked it somewhere at the stadium hopefully, and kind of allowed us to regain our shape and try and gain a bit of composure and then defend the next phase.
I picked out this next one from this season because it was quite a big day for the club. We went to Ibrox, we got a win for the first time since 1997, and you made a number of saves that day, but this was a really good double save.
Both kind of straight at me, Scott. I'm not trying to kind of play them down on that. Obviously, sometimes a good save is the timing of a save, and obviously this is late on in the game and our backs against the wall and playing against a brilliant team who are putting us under severe pressure. And if you want your team to win or take points at Ibrox or Parkhead or whatever, then these are two saves your goalie must make. And goalkeepers do a lot of training on kind of up, down, but like that doesn't really happen. What happens is you get one ball and you need to defend it as best as you can. But for all the times that you do kind of get up and down, then this is why, just for that one time, and might be every 25 games where you need to do it.
Not the result we wanted on the day, but I remember filming it myself, and it was a really, really good save from the angle.
See, the first goal, I actually didn't think I saved that. See, when I touched it, I thought it was in anyway. I didn't feel as though I'd got enough on it, and it was just a horrible day. I think everybody remembers it was pouring rain and the wind was horrific. Just went to my left there after its pass. Shane actually, I think it is, no, Shane was in front of me. Shane actually gets the slightest of touches on it as well, so that's why I probably catch it with more of my fingertips and more of my hand. Shane gets the slightest of wee touches that nobody notices. Shane played his part in keeping that ball at the goal as well, definitely.
So in your 150 games, you've had to face a good number of penalties in that time.
Mm-hmm.
This one from this season, Mark O'Hara, have you got a way that you want to go? Do you watch his routine?
Mm-hmm.
You know, have you got something in mind?
Well, each person's different, Scott, obviously. Mark is a very good penalty taker, and feel like a goalkeeper's point of view, if you plan on somebody the way Mark takes it, if you plan on just picking a side and going, then Mark will wait for you to go. So you need to wait and try and put the pressure on him. Here, if you see me, I take a wee step to my right, hold my position again, and then I go to my right again. Mark tries to make you wait and knows he's got a great reverse whip on him, so if you stand for too long, then you've no chance of getting to the corner. I spoke to him after the game, and he said he wasn't sure on which side he was planning on going, so the boys react really well. Obviously, the immediate reaction for yourself is him to come in the box, who's touched it next, but thankfully for me, I kept my left foot in the line. Mark O'Hara touches it again, so then everybody else is in play can then touch the ball after that. Like I say, that game finishes 9-0, so the importance is of the result of the match, and to have an impact on that is pleasing for me.
Modern day penalty takers seem to have different kinds of run-ups.
Mm-hmm.
Lewis Palmer being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of slow, the stuttering. How difficult is that for a goalkeeper to manage that situation?
He scored a one into Kel Roos the week before, going that way, and Kel's obviously bigger than me, so I had it in my head that if he thinks he can score that way into Kel Roos, who went the right way, Lewis Palmer put it in the side net and gave him no chance, hit a bit better penalty than what he hit here. I faked to go to my right, which maybe makes you think that I'm going to go to my left, but then I go to my right again. I'm sure if you play against these guys again, they can easily put you in the top corner and give you no chance, but if you're asking me specifically on what I was thinking in any moments, then that gives you an idea of what I was thinking.
Just for anyone who wasn't aware of this situation, what actually happened?
Nicky Devlin hit the first penalty. I came off my line the first time, so then Nicky handballed it, so there was no advantage for Nicky then. But if Nicky never handballed it and still scored, then it would have been a goal, and he never caught that one that well in terms of how he can take it and how he I know Nicky's a great striker of a ball, so when he moved on to the second one and he got the second opportunity, I then fancied himself to hit it better this time for him, so I felt as though he would go the same way, and he did probably catch it a wee bit better. Thankfully I managed to stay on my line, and I think his big Saul comes in and clears it away, but then we check again for VAR. That's why I'm laughing after it, because we're then checking again, my left foot stays in the line with the point of contact.
The next penalty was at Hearts with Liam Boyce. Good penalty save, but I'm not sure you'd get away with it nowadays.
No, I definitely came off my line. Liam Boyce actually scored a penalty in that game before me, and I felt as though because he went one side he might go down the middle. I jumped off my line and it was then spoken about a lot. I remember I spoke to a referee the following week, and they say that it was addressed at Hampden between the referees that we need to stop goalkeepers coming off the line too much, because obviously I gain an advantage there, and that should have been a retake.
So you say that was something that was brought up and talked about, you coming off your line. Is that what started this whole scenario against St Mirren then?
This is a few weeks later we then play St Mirren, so probably looking in hindsight, the linesman who's to my left hand side has it in his head now that no matter what he does, no matter if Liam saves this, then it's a retake. But because I go quite prominent with my left foot forward, you might think I've come off my line, but when you watch it back, it's still definitely part of my right foot, right heel that's on the line. And that was a penalty save I was really happy with, because obviously Brophy's a really good striker of all, and one of the best in the league at catching the ball really well, and I've obviously managed to make a save, and this was this made it 2 each at the time, and thankfully it stayed 2 each, and it was the year we got top 6 as well, so it did have some sort of impact in the game. But there's me trying to speak to the line to tell him I had 1 foot on, but there's no VAR then, so I wasn't getting any help.
Is that something that you're constantly thinking about, is not going too early?
It's hard for a goalkeeper. I think any goalie would say that, because if you stay in the middle and try and wait, you've no chance to get to the corner. But here I managed to keep my left heel just on the line, and then Brophy scored the retake. I'm a bit disappointed myself. I never went the same way, because he did catch the first one well, and obviously he'd back his set would catch the second one well. I don't know why I'm acting like that, because I have no idea whether I was on the line or off line either. So that's just passion for the position, I suppose.
This time in the cup early on in the season, you've went the right way, but you've had to go high this time. How pleased are you with that save? Because that's something a little bit different.
Also playing low league opposition in Annan, but that boy taking this shoot, he was actually a really good player on the day. It's a boy called Owen Moxon, and he's whipped that in the top corner. But just when somebody's such a nice strike of the ball, and usually they fancy reversing things, he managed to catch it really well. And probably if I seen another goalie make that save, I'd say that's not a bad save. It wasn't really that bad a penalty, and got us a clean sheet that day. And obviously the person who gives away the penalty never feels good, so if you can dig them out that hole, then that's obviously a bit better as well. All
the examples I've had so far have been penalties in isolation. This next one is actually in a shootout. How different is a penalty shootout compared to just the one-off penalty in 90 minutes?
Aye, it is. It's different because people might have different tendencies in what they do in penalty shootouts to what they do in a 90-minute game. Given this bit here, somebody I know well with Scotland, I don't know if he'd missed one previously to the goalie's left, which then made me think he was going to go back to the goalie's right. I probably didn't have much an idea of where he was going to go. Obviously he keeps it low, and I managed to get down to it. That's kept us alive in the shootout, because we'd missed one before them, but also sadly for us we never managed to win this game. So these are the ones I'm not pleased with, to be honest, when you don't get the right result.
Well, you got the right result in the next penalty shootout against Morton, another penalty save.
If I remember right, this was big left-sided centre-back who took this for Morton, kind of long, kind of straight run-up, which usually kind of means they're going to open up. The pace in his run-up kind of makes you think, he's going to try and reverse it and smash it, but I had a feeling he was just going to open his foot up. That was one I was really happy with, because ultimately we'll win the penalty shootout. Scotland and gets us through the next round of the cup, so most important thing is the team wins and gets the right way there, and thankfully I did.
And we'll just go right back to the very start with the first penalty you faced. Against Jamie McGrath, I believe.
This is probably the one I'm most pleased with, because he's a really unique penalty taker. He's completely based on what the goalkeeper does. If you watch his penalties, I'm going to say 95% of the time he sends the goalie the wrong way, because he waits to the very last second whilst watching you. When I fake to go to my left, usually that means you're then going to go to your right. But if I thought to myself, if I fake to go to my left, he thinks I'm going to go to my right, then I go to my left again. It worked. Listen, it might not work, it might just be rubbish, it might just be what I've got in my head works. It's the one I'm most pleased with, because he'd never missed a penalty before that, and he's never missed a penalty since that. So to get him, I've had him a couple of times since then, and he scored twice into me. That's why that one's the most pleasing for me.
I thought I'd put this one in as well. I know he didn't save it, but Kylian Mbappe against Liam Kelly, is that something a young Liam Kelly could never have foreseen happening?
Low left, I'll go too low, and I gave my right hand a bit too much to do. Listen, he still puts it right in the side netting, but to even be in that position for when I first signed for Motherwell 3.5 years ago is something I could never expect. So a grateful moment, but one I wish I can go back in time and just push that wee bit further to get a wee bit more on.
To then go on and make your Scotland debut, is that one of the highs in the last 3.5 years?
It is the high, to be honest, Scott. Obviously, like any player from Scotland, it's a dream to play for their country, isn't it? And to be a Motherwell goalkeeper representing this club for Scotland, it's something I got in kind of back to here I never thought I would do. Obviously I can't thank the Scotland manager enough. Obviously the manager here now is one of the main reasons why I made that that step up and play for Scotland as well, because he plays me, and to get that opportunity and get that chance is something I'll be forever grateful for the Scotland manager.
Just going back to club life in the last 3.5 years, is there a particular moment that sticks out as being the best, the highest you've felt in your time here?
Probably on the pitch, I think just that kind of euphoria when Ricky scored the last minute goal, and just being so close with Ricky, and one of my good pals, for him to be in that moment. And listen, he was known to kind of clutch his big moments that year, wasn't he? And that stands out majorly on the pitch. But off the pitch, it was probably just signing permanently for the club, to be honest. The first 6 months on loan went that well that I was desperate to come back. Obviously I had offers to go other places, and I wanted to come back to Motherwell. I loved it, and I still do. I absolutely love it. Like I say, we're not perfect as a team, and I'm not perfect as a goalkeeper, but you still try and enjoy yourself, you still try and put yourself out there, always be available. And it's a 3.5 years that definitely I've absolutely loved.
And your celebrations are getting better and better. You seem to like that run to the halfway line and do a circle back.
Especially when Big Moses bails me out a hole against Dundee and scores a last minute winner. That was really good. That made me really happy. But just because I care so much about the teammates and how happy it is and how good the feeling is for them. So I'm the captain of the club now, and knowing how important a victory is for us to so many people, and the ultimate happiness for me is us winning and our club winning. And when we score a goal, I'll never stop celebrating, to be honest.